We are back for part 2 of our ocean scene. And I'm going to teach you how to do seafoam, a 3D effect to bring a little more depth to your pieces. So let's talk about what we're going to need to do this. First, we'll need Modge Podge the Glossy. Then we're going to need some Dawn dish soap, a teeny tiny bit of water, a spoon to scoop your bubbles and place them on your piece, a straw to blow in the mixture to create the bubbles like you did as a kid with chocolate milk or milk. You know, the kind your mom said, stop doing that. So you need that. And really, that's it. Oh, I have some saran wrap because you can use this to lay, here, I'll just show you what I mean. You can use saran wrap to lay across your piece so you can follow the exact line. Oh, broken box. You can follow the exact line of your seashore, the shoreline, where you want your, there. That's all we're gonna do. We're gonna add it to our piece just like that. And then straighten it out, or you can leave some waves in there if you want. Make it look a little more natural. But that's what you're gonna do. You're gonna lay this like this. So we're gonna scoop the bubbles out and place them here. We're gonna let this set overnight and dry. And it's gonna come out as, we'll pull it off the saran wrap and it's gonna be like a rubbery piece of foam. Kind of like if you've seen people do art for prosthetics for movies and things like that, and they peel off a prosthetic and they put it on the actor's face and they use a paste to smooth out the edges so it looks natural. That's how we're gonna do. That's one way to do it. The other way is to do it directly on your piece and you don't have a piece to peel off and put on. It's directly over. In fact, let's do that because, sorry guys, there's a lot of pollen here right now. It's that time of year for us here in Colorado. A lot of wind off the mountains, blowing pollen everywhere in the air, and this is the result of that. Excuse me. So, instead of using saran wrap, you can use a canvas, a stretched canvas that has the plastic still wrapped on it. And you can lay your foam here and then add a UV resin or a thin layer of resin to that piece, let it cure overnight, and then pull it off the plastic. You can put it on a canvas piece like this, or, excuse me, if you're doing tumblers and you want a seafoam design on your tumbler, you can peel this piece off and put it on your tumbler and then use resin to keep it down. And you'll have that seafoam on your tumbler design too if you want to use it that way. But, so that's how you want to do it. That's one way. Or, I think an easier way is to put it on here, because I want to put it directly on the piece, and I'm going to make a second version on here that we'll be able to peel off tomorrow, and you'll be able to see that. So let's start. I'm gonna pull this off. Let's mix up this. And the person that I learned this from is an artist, Artist Till Death, Erica and Jeff Thornton. She does amazing work. She is like the queen of oceans. So I'm gonna try to measure this out. So that's 1 spoon. Let's do 2 spoons. Oh, and you also want to add a little white to this. So get a pigment paste or some kind of white coloring. 3. And I know if I count them wrong, you'll tell me in comments. 4. Let's just do 5. All right, so there's 5. We'll set it up here so you can see. I'm gonna close this back. And I have my pinata and I have paste. I think I'm gonna use the paste. No, I'm gonna use the pinata because I want it to still be light, and I think if I put paste in, it's gonna weigh it down and the bubbles won't do what I want them to do. So I'm gonna use pinata, which is an alcohol ink mixed with a little bit of paste. So I think that'll be good. And why are we adding white to this? Because as you can see, Dawn is blue, right? So I'm just gonna add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That should be enough. I just counted to 10, you saw that. And let's just mix this so you can see. And really and honestly, I kind of like the blue tint in this, but some people may want it pure white. Because I'm doing an ocean scene, I may not add. So you see, it has a little blue tint to it, right? And it's kind of indicative of the blue from the ocean. So I'll tell you what I'll do. What I put on here, I'm gonna leave the blue tint. What I add here for tomorrow, I will add white to this mixture and we'll see the difference. Because she also added some tint colors and made like a raspberry color. So if you want to do an ocean scene, say you want to do it in purple, so you have your darker purple, you know, a lighter purple, and then like a real transparent see-through purple here. And then your foam, your sea foam, you can use a purple tint in here to make it purple foam. That's an idea too. So let me add just a hair of water. And this is not cold water, it's just room temperature water. I'm just gonna add a little bit to help activate the soap. If you want to put it in a jar and shake it up, you can do that. But I think it's gonna be better blowing it with a straw. And then when we blow the bubbles up, I'm gonna use a clean spoon to scoop the bubbles, the foam, and put here. So let's undo our handy dandy straw. Don't drink it, just blow into it. See how it's forming bubbles? And now I'm just gonna scoop some of the bubbles and I'm just gonna lay it. See how that looks? I'm gonna put some more bubbles down on my, you can even pick up bubbles on the back of the spoon. I think it does better on the front. I'm just laying the foam down. Okay, now our bubbles are getting low, so all I do blow some more, pop the bigger ones. You just want the smaller foam. There you go. And I don't want it all symmetrical, right? Foam can wash in from a little ways out, right? You just stack it up and build it up. However much you want, wherever you want it. And really and honestly, that's all it is to it. And I'll show you what it looks like tomorrow. And just like I said, skim the top where the bubbles are. That's what you want. You really, like now, the bubbles are going away again. So just blow more air into it. Don't suck in. I'm gonna pop the bigger bubbles. I don't want big bubbles. I just want the foam. Okay, so there's that. Now, I will, that really looks white. Let's add a little more soap. Like I said, there's no set recipe. It's a hit or miss. So I would experiment and keep track of your measurements. How much soap did you put in? You know, how much Modge Podge did you put in? How much water? And keep your own little recipe so you know. All right. Pop the big bubbles again. Now I want just these foam bubbles. And I'm skimming the top. Maybe I want a little bit out here, like it's a washed up wave. So you get the gist, right? That's how you create a seafoam along your shoreline using Modge Podge, Dawn dish detergent, a straw, and a little bit of water. Now, y'all saw how I did it here, and now I'm gonna lay this here. Well, once I get everything off of it. Let me pull, because I don't want it touching my little foam piece there. So now I'll show you how you can put it on your plastic here. And it's foam. Like I said, I'm just skimming the top to get only the bubbles. And we'll put it on here. And make some new bubbles. This is how you can make 3D sea foam. Maybe you're making like a little painting inside of a jar and you have rocks that the seafoam is washing up against, right? So you can build these up, let it dry, add a little UV resin or a very thin coat of resin. Like if I made this, and I'm gonna set it to the side, I'm gonna let it dry overnight, and I came back tomorrow and I peeled that piece off and I wanted to apply it to my canvas, I would add a very thin layer of resin. I would put the piece down and I would smooth out the edges so it looked natural, to blend it in. That's how you do that. I wanted to show you how you can do it directly under canvas, let it dry. It does help if you have rocks or like a sand layer or shells or things like that for it to build upon, to transition from the sand line to your water. That makes a big difference too. So we really need to let this dry. I'm gonna let this dry, and tomorrow when I come back, I'm gonna add some more waves here. And I wanted to talk about this because, got some on my hand. You see where, if you watched the first video, you saw I added some dark blue down here. And if you look, it looks like this is a water break. Like maybe there's a sandbar there and water's breaking over that. Doing an underpainting on your canvas adds more dimension to your pieces instead of like just a flat water with some, you know, waves washing out over it. This gives it dimension. It looks like it's different levels of water, a break point for waves to come over. So underpainting your canvas really helps give it new characteristics and a different viewpoint, that adds more depth to your piece. So keep that in mind too. That's another trick when you're doing oceans. This looks great, I love it. It looks like the water is just washed in and out with a very little bit of foam there. But here it looks like the waves are breaking in, and I like that. So I'm gonna define more of this section tomorrow when we come back. Today, I wanted you to see this nifty little seafoam trick. Let me know, have you seen this before? Again, I learned this from Artist Till Death. Gosh, I wanna say probably over a year ago is when I saw her do it and was like, wow, that's pretty cool. I like adding dimension and layers to my work, so it was perfect. So we have our seafoam. You now know the trick to add to your pieces. Let me know, is this something that you're gonna try? Do you like this? Do you like it the way it was before without the foam? Give me some feedback, tell me what you think. Tomorrow we're gonna finish it up. We're gonna do some final waves to add a little more 3D effect. Again, remember for waves, the trick is pour a clear line of resin, your white behind it, you blow your clear over your white to make these. That gives it more depth too, because you have clear and a bright white, which adds another layer of depth to the construction of the wave. So let me know what you guys think. Is this a go or a no for you? Anyway, that's how we make seafoam. Until next time, happy arting. Ta-ta for now.